वासुदेव श्री कृष्णचंद्र भगवान की जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। जय जय गोविंद जय हरि गोविंद।
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 जय
Hari Om everyone. Can you all hear me and see me clearly? Awesome. Today is a very remarkable day that last year, no, 2 years ago, we decided to shift gears into online teaching. And then as soon as we decided, we jumped into training all the sevaks and sevikas. And within the second week, we launched our Balavihar program. And it has been consistently for about 2 years that we have been up to it. We have been consistently providing this platform a sense of stability to all the students congregation, that whatever may be up and down, in and out, swirling around, we would have this platform given and its stability to all the students, that there is something consistent which will run and anchor everybody. So today would be I pray that it is going to be true, that there is no more uh, variations of this COVID-19 that will take us by surprise or hit us from the side. We are ready to take it on head on, but enough. And today would be the last day to move or switch gears from being online into in person sessions. So, tomorrow we have our Balavihar online, and that will be the last one too. But from next week onwards, we'll have all these sessions in person. I could not be happier. So, having said that, let me begin today's session with the invocation. And today's topic is something that I have picked from the pledge, where that's what I sent across to the entire Signal group as well, that we not only believe that we stand after every session, put our right hands on our heart and say we stand as one family, and rattle out the entire pledge that Puja Gurudev has written, but it has become the very fabric of our own being. So let us start that, and let us start with the invocation. ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. When we take the pledge and stand in oath, to take the oath saying we stand as one family, it is not just mere words. It is that which Puja Gurudev has established as the very cornerstone of everything that we are and everything that we do. We stand as one family. To do what? To come together with love and respect to fight, and many people stop there. I mean, we have been fighting. What is the change here? To fight against all low tendencies and false values within and without. And in the last 2 years, it took us by surprise, it took us by shock, and each one of us has had their own personal stories, personal experiences, personal traumas that we could share, we could voice. But in such times that we stood up, held each other's hand, believed in each other, trust in each other, that so far away from our roots that this is a family. See, back there, back in India, one of the things that most of us complain, often repeatedly, is oh, the neighbors and everybody in the family are so nosy. Whether they want, whether it is their business or not, they want to know everything, they want to poke their into everything. It gets suffocating. But to give them a credit, when we are in any kind of experience that drags us down, it is these nosy people that really stand up as our network, a safety net, and they will chip in, they will pitch in to be there for each one of us. Whether it is family, whether it is our neighbor, whether it is our relations, that is when they jump in. But here, having come this far away from those roots and establish our roots, who is that family? Gurudev has given us this platform and rightly said, we are the family and we stand together. Now, I just want to take the next 40 minutes or so, because in the last I want to reiterate the announcements that has gone as a video. But until then, I just want to take this opportunity to do the overlook, Simhavalokana, of what we have gone through as a collective, what we have gone through as a personal experience, each one of us. But on the outset, I would like to say that the entire team, the entire network of sevaks and sevikas that we have had did not fail me even once. That as soon as we talked about shifting the gears and making sure that we provide a stable platform for our next generation, for our families, each one of us stepped in, stepped up, and held it high until we said it is done. I mean, let us take a step back and see that. That in itself is really a huge achievement. To maintain that consistency and to be able to give that itself is a huge thing to mark. And as we went through together through the entire pandemic period, each one of us have had, whether the family back in India or here or a friend or a relative or a neighbor, we can share our own entire saga. But what surprised me was, whether it was doctors in the front line whenever I had to reach, whether it was our own sevaks and sevikas whenever I reached out, in spite of their own personal things that could have brought us down to our knees, they were ready to face whatever they are facing and turn around and come back to this. So I asked a couple of them. There were some teachers, there were some who we never see in the forefront, they're in the backdrop. So I asked them very sincerely as to why don't you take a break? You need that time for your family to support. So one of the common most answers that I have seen, see, when you are pushed to the wall and cornered, you're not trying to put words to look PC. That which you truly believe comes out. And one thing that I saw as a common thread all across was, Swamiji, this is one place where I draw strength from, so that I can face whatever I have to face with a smile on my face. And that is when I realized that this pledge that we take is no longer just a statement, but it has become the very fabric of our being. So, to every teacher, every sevak, every sevika who went through a lot, and unless it reached me and I reached out to them, they won't even share, saying, Swamiji, you already have enough on your plate. If it becomes unbearable, we will reach out to you. That they were ready to digest whatever they are going through and be there as a family for the entire congregation. I would like to invoke Puja Gurudev and Bhagwan's blessings on each one of the sevaks, sevikas, on each one of the volunteers, whether they were teachers, whether they were coordinators, whether they were we created new posts because of the kind of job that we were getting into. It was all new to each one of them, each one of us. I would thank profusely and invoke Bhagwan's blessings, Gurudev's blessings, that may this spirit with which you have worked, may this spirit with which you have been consistent, is not only just cherished as something that we did in those 2 years or in these 2 years, but becomes our very nature moving forward as well. And that is something that I have truly remarkably observed and I appreciate personally as well. That is where I picked this quote that I have here. Never complain about the number of hours that you have put in to do a job. Your nobility must estimate how much of you was put into each of your daily work. I've been thinking about this particular saying for the last 2-3 weeks, overwhelmed each time I think about this line of thinking as to how much support that each one of you has pitched in to just do that little bit which you have promised to do. Cannot thank each one of you enough. One of the things in my prayers daily that I had whenever I sat down for my puja, japa and sadhana was, may the spirit be intact, may it never shatter, may everybody who is pitching in have this amazing spirit to continue as long as it takes. And needless to say that each one of you have proven to be a treasure to be held high, because there was enough a challenge. There are many of you who have never been in front of computer the way these 2 years demanded. On the top of it, there are technologies that we got into, and I should really thank the team behind, which was at par with me in trying to explore, trying to find, trying to debate over what technology to put in place. There was WebEx, there was Google Meet, there was Meets, then there was this Zoom. Now, I think moving forward, if somebody says Zoom, we would like to zoom out. I said we are not just fatigued, burnt, but we are done with it now. We want to get back in person. I understand. But to learn that as a curve, and then to add several things into it. As I see the gallery here, each one of you has a distinct, remarkable backdrop. You've learnt it, mastered it, invested into it, probably have a green screen like what I have, then an artwork on the top of it, then the lighting that goes into it, then the network speed that has. We have learnt all of that in quick succession, put it into practice, wherein that which was unbelievable, that four corners of screen can be good enough a space to reach out to those children and make it not just entertaining and fun, but it also became the platform where they could learn, they could pin their hopes into. And your consistency was the thing that made it possible. There were times where most of the children either turned it off, put the video off, and our community, if I don't see the faces, how do I reach across? I mean, you become like me. Like, I'm also trying to do that with so many screens off. Please don't turn on. I'm just picking on you right royally today. And believe that you are listening and move on. But week after week to do that is also a challenge. Then we had a team whose job description was to find such people and keep pinging them saying that, turn your video on. That was their job. And they did that efficiently, to make sure that the teacher who is taking the lead in teaching has that platform to reach across, see eye to eye, and talk to them. Then the hours that were necessary to put in place, wherein whether it is to be trained on this platform, then we added after years of success, because we went through the grand Balavihar national program, international program, where we had about 6,000 students that could join in for a whole 2-month period. We tried on this OBS, we tried all these new things, and when I requested Brahmachari Hari Chaitanya to bring it forward, teach to the teachers, make it engaging, because one of the key things that many of us were saying was, hey, how to make this four corners of a screen more engaging. So, I'm going to miss this platform for one thing. You know what, right? Mute all. Such an efficient tool. Just mute them all, and you get the access to allow who gets to say. Especially in a classroom of 30 kids, 40 kids, and in the camps it was like 600 kids. It becomes overwhelming when everybody tries to speak. So to learn each one of these steps, when Hari Chaitanya put that OBS You were eager to learn. And the eagerness was from that standpoint that how do I make this more engaging? Yes, that is a learning curve, but we are ready to learn that. Then after that, there is again a Zoom meeting with the teachers, so that you make this impactful to the classroom and the class study. There is a huge learning that I was sitting back and watching week after week after week. Because to look into, I don't know, we have about, I see when I see my signal group, we have about, I have about 274, yeah, 273 groups. Can you imagine to run this whole thing, the number of groups that we are engaged in? And then in between there was a security issue on WhatsApp, then we shifted into Signal. Though many keep pressuring me saying they have changed it. Can you it is not easy to flip from one to the other to the other to the other as an overnight thing. There's a whole mechanism that has to be put in place. We shifted and we articulated, we pinged each other, we were there. And in between all of this, when a family took a hit, whether it was hospitalization, whether it was sickness, whether it was the way we reached out in cooking a warm meal and being there for the families, taking them to hospital, or being with the family when somebody is in the hospital, or to be just a shoulder where that which words cannot provide, as condolences, as something that you can trust in and lean upon. Each one of us there for each other. We put aside everything that which is called our regular responsibilities, and we put the others as a higher priority and be there for each other. Isn't that the first step of Vedanta? Yes, when I start speaking on I take a hammer and sledge it across, hammering, saying what we are doing is not sufficient to be even a sadhaka, let alone about moksha. But at these trying times is when I saw each one of us evolve into a different dimension of a beauty that can be cherished individually. So whoever coined the saying, whenever going gets tough, the tough get going. I think that resilience to get go and to do that which is the most genuine thing to do, to be there for each other, that has to be appreciated, that has to be celebrated. And the reason I'm emphasizing on this is I know personally many families who have gone through several traumatic experiences. How does one reconcile with that trauma and to get out of it? There are many methods out there, but one of the most beautiful, efficient method is when we can put others as a higher priority than ourselves and be there for them and to be able to provide for them. That in itself is Narayana Seva. To see that Narayana in these individuals around us and to serve them with that attitude consistently. And the best part, without any complaint. You were ready to put you into the act, putting your personal experiences that could pull you down behind and step up to do that which is necessary for the environment. I think that has to be noted down, that has to be appreciated. So when we say we stand as one family, we have definitely stood up as one family and been there for each other. And as we transition from here to the next part, this is where I will sound very monotonous, because this would be the announcements and the do's and don'ts kind of a look, but it is necessary. How many ever times said, it has to be reiterated again until we get into the phase and we are in person. So as we open up, as we shift the gears from online, because one of the key factors was we were not sure if there was an end to this pandemic, and if we prematurely shift from online to offline in-person classes, to come back online again would take a tremendous effort of regrouping. It was not just a shift and say, okay, from tomorrow we will meet. No, the entire grouping, entire teachers, entire list, because going in person now requires more protocols than ever, because we have still be cautious. So when we are opening up, we are opening in all our 3 centers. We have consolidated all the groups into 2 sessions per center. Say Saket, it will have S1, S2, Chitrakoot C1, C2, and Frisco F1, F2. But we have made a slight change moving forward, that 9 to 10:30 is the first session. Earlier, prior to this pandemic, the next session was 11:30 to 1. Now we have moved it to include 1.5 hours in between, and then start the session from 12 to 1:30. That way, it gives us scope. This was designed specifically because of the Frisco, taking into consideration that the first group has to go, then we have to clean up, and then the second group can come in. So the transition had to be accommodated. And it was a win-win situation, wherein in Saket and Chitrakoot, that will give us 15 minutes for the students to get relieved from the class, come to the cultural classes. The people from first session can join later, and people from the second session can join earlier into that session. So from 10:45 to 11:45, 1 hour solid time to really learn, crank it up. So that is where we have little readjusted it. So 9 to 10:30 is the first session. Then there is a break. 10:45 to 11:45 is the cultural classes. Then a 15-minute break to regroup in the assembly hall. And from 12 to 1:30 is the second session. These will be in Chitrakoot and Saket facility. But whereas in the Frisco facility, as I've already mentioned, there is a transition time that is required in that facility, and there is a protocol, because we are renting that facility. There's a protocol that is already in place, and we have to honor that. We are actually very thankful that they have allowed us use this facility for our purpose. So we'll have to honor that, and in that honoring, that cleaning in between and transitioning for this group going out completely and the next group coming in. So therefore we will not be able to offer the cultural classes as well as the satsangs for the adults in this particular sessions. So many people said, oh, my kid will be left unattended with for these cultural classes for next 3 months or 9 sessions or 8 sessions. I think 8 sessions. For these 8 sessions, I would humbly request you to reconsider joining Saket, because that is the closest for you, and you can partake in the cultural classes there. Hopefully that by end of this academic year, all these protocols and norms will be eased out, and when we open up next academic year, we'll have the same system all across, including Frisco. Now, as we step inside, just for the safety of everyone, for the child, for the parent, specifically for the teacher, for the sake of those who have stepped in, please wear your masks. And when you wear the masks, make sure it is not your chin mudra. Chin mudra is a new mudra that I have invented. I have not yet patented it, but to wear the mask on your under your chin is the chin mudra. That is not the right place. It is covering your face. Because in India, the masks were there. I just came back from India. The masks were there, but like even in Doha, it was a funny thing. I flew through Doha. The people would, pull the mask down, give out a loud sneeze, and then put the mask up. I was like, dude, that has to be done in the mask, not outside the mask. But anyways, I was masked, so I thought I was safe. So let us follow that protocol wherein it is not a cloth mask, but you come with a double surgical mask or a N95 or a KN95 mask. That way we can ensure to be cautious and be functional. We need not be succumbing to our fears, what ifs. Those what ifs are taken care if you put on the mask, and wherever you're touching, whenever you're touching, you clean up with the 99.99% virus killer. The Purell or those bottles will be provided in each classroom, so that if we keep these two parameters, I think we will mostly be safe. Because it has been seen, this Omicron or Omicron, however you pronounce it, still impacts those who have been vaccinated and boosted, but it will pass away as a flu impact, and after the 6th day or 7th day you're back on your feet. So we are taking a bet on it that even if it impacts, it will be very minimal, and we should be fine with it. So finally we come to the sessions to make sure that this in-person is possible. Then comes the next aspect, is if during, the next aspect is that you should be vaccinated. We are opening the facility only for those who have been vaccinated. So you might be surprised, are there people out there, especially the Indian community, who have not been vaccinated? For whatever reasons, they have not been vaccinated. They may have had certain health situations where they cannot indulge in having the vaccination. They've protected themselves in a cocooned environment, so they're not people who are vaccinated. I will not go into politicizing it about vaccination or pro-vaccination or non-vaccination. But whatever be the reasons, there are people. So we have kept it open only for those who are vaccinated. Now, the next thing is, if you come in contact with somebody who is sick, or if you find yourself being in that symptom, flu-like symptoms or upper respiratory symptoms, please refrain from coming to the sessions. If you see a sniffle, please refrain from coming. It may be because of allergy, but it will be difficult to prove to a crowd of 200 people every single time you meet and you're sniffling only allergies. It's nothing to worry. It's only allergies. It will be difficult. So stay back, recover, and then start coming, just so that the rest of them are safe. As I've already mentioned, the timings, and in Frisco we'll have a different protocol, and Saket and Chitrakoot will have different protocol. This particular satsang, which we have for the congregational satsang, that will be automatically shifting into the session timings. So when the kids go into the sessions for the Balavihar classes, I'll be conducting it, the satsang for the adults, in Chitrakoot, and Brahmachari Hari Chaitanya ji will be conducting it in Saket. Because Frisco has that protocol where Divya, Brahmacharini Divya ji will not be having that opportunity. She will be going into the classroom. I just approved her list of rotations. So she'll be going into the classrooms and conducting these special topics. And I mean, in a public platform, just saying it to both Hari and Divya, which the children have appreciated, the teachers have appreciated, and the parents have appreciated. So we have a blockbuster unveiled because of the pandemic and how to engage the students, and you both have seemingly nailed it. Good job. Hari, you can smile, ma. It's not a serious thing. I'm praising you, so you can smile. I mean, like down the lane, few years later, when we see this video, Hari, you will be like, because you will not be seen in the screen. It will be only me speaking. So remember that, your face was serious at this point. So Divya will be going into the classrooms and engaging them with those special topics. Then the registration process, I would request all the parents to go in and check, because technically what we have done is those who are in the EBV1, we have distributed you into Saket, Chitrakoot, and Frisco in the first session itself, knowing that you were from that facility earlier. If you are in EBV2, we have spread it in the Chitrakoot, Saket, and Frisco in the second session, because that was the preference that you have shown and you have been participating. So it will be from 9 to 10:30 you will be in the facility, and if you are in EBV2, then you will be in the second session, which is from 12 to 1:30. I would want you to go into the registration thing and check it out, and this process is being done as of now, but you can help us move it faster if you go and correct it yourself. And on the top of it, if there is some changes because you want to come attend the cultural classes in Saket and you want to move in here, then give us 1 week after we open up. Then you could request for a slide into the session and into the facility, whichever you choose. Give us 1 week after 20th. Give us 1 week to make that shift, and you should be able to be accommodated into that session. If you have any kind of requests or any questions or queries, the Signal group should have sent you. And if you have not sent as teachers, please, I request you to post it to all the teachers, the coordinators especially, and please post it onto the Signal groups to the parents as well as the teachers. And your email should have already reached out to you. If you have not found that email, please look into your spam or junk folder, retrieve it and mark it as not junk so that it never goes there. Yes, in the last 2 years, we communicated overwhelmingly several times with quick succession. But I think moving forward, being in person, we can communicate better and this onslaught can be reduced. Now, the signal is a good method to continue, I would believe, to communicate between the teachers, to communicate between the teachers and the students, and communicate between the teachers and the parents. So, the regrouping of it, the present groups will be deleted and a new group will be created. Or the sequence will be first the new group will be created and this old group will be deleted later. So as soon as that link is provided by your coordinators to the teachers, please join it. From teachers to the parents, please join it. That way it becomes seamless and quick. After you join, say 20th, by 20th we would have joined. By the week of 27th March, the old groups will be deleted so that there is no confusion. Because imagine if I have about 274 groups and add another 200 plus groups, it'll be crazy. So the old groups have to be deleted. So that our team will take care. And at this point, I would like to thank the backend team, which spends, like, even yesterday night we had a call from 8:30 onwards, and we have been having these kinds of meetings all night long to make sure that on the front end everything is seamless. So thank you team for being there, those who have been in the registration team, those who have been on the website team, those who have been on the Zoom protocol team, those who have been on the Signal team, those who have, thank you all. If I missed, thank them also. Missed anyone, because sometimes to list everything out may not be that easy. So we have made certain changes finally. I mean, coming to the final part of my talking to you today is there are new coordinators in place for several sessions in Frisco or in Saket. There's a new blood that has been brought in, so they will be supported by the teachers. The teachers should have been reached already, and I'm working with the coordinators to make sure that every classroom has at least two teachers, if not two, at least one teacher to move forward with. Once a session opens up, then we will look into the congregation and I'll start handpicking, and the same instruction to Hari and Divya to handpick on those volunteers, and I'll talk to them, approve them, and get it going. But just to start with, we should have at least one teacher per classroom, though in most of the classes there are already two teachers. Thank you for chipping in again to keep the in-person sessions moving and shifting the gear and being a part of it, being a part of that team as well. So that would be it for this last session, where it is nothing but thanks for being the family. And thanks for being the family which has not complained in the last 2 years, but tighten the belt and be there strong. I was really the most appreciative of your participation and support. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, from the bottom of the heart of the entire Chinmaya team here at DFW. And lastly, this would not have been possible if, because remember, these new set of brahmacharins came in October or November, and by February the pandemic took grip, and by March we were in person. They never got the opportunity to be in person and they went online. And guys, it would not have been possible without you all being there and taking that much on your plate and delivering it every week, week after week. Thank you, and kudos to a good job. Now, at the very end, for all the pain, trauma, and shock that we have gone through, I have only one person to thank at the end, Puja Gurudev and Bhagavan, that he has given us enough strength to wave through all of that. So, as a sh- as a mark of gratitude, I would like Brahmachari Hari Chaitanya to do me two favors today. One, chant the Mahamrityunjaya mantra 11 times, and in a beautiful tune that which you can pick, chant Hanuman Chalisa for us in the next 10-12 minutes.
Yes. Is my audio okay, Swamiji?
Yes. One sec. Yeah, is it little far away, the mic or something?
It's a bit. No, it's usual. Is this better? Is it good?
Yeah.
I'll start with Hanuman Chalisa.
No. Mahamrityunjaya mantra, then Hanuman Chalisa, then I will end with the Shanti Pata.
ॐ त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् 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 श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी बरनौ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन बरण विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा
हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा बिराजे, कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे, शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगबंदन, विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर, प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया, सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, बिकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा, भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज संवारे, लाय संजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए, रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बढ़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरत सम भाई, सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावे, अस कहीं श्रीपति कंठ लगावे, सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा, जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते, तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा, तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना, जुग सहस्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्यो ताहि मधुर फल जानु, प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि, जलधि लांघि गए अचरज नाही, दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते, राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होतन आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे, सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना, आपन तेज सम्हारो आपै, तीनों लोक हांकते कांपे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा, संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे, चारों जुग पर ताप तुम्हारा, है पर सिद्ध जगत उजियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता, असबर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा, तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंत काल रघुबर पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई, और देवता चित्तन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरै हनुमत बलबीरा, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूट ही बंदी महा सुख होई, जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा, तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय मह डेरा, कीजय नाथ हृदय मह डेरा, पवन तनय संकट हरण, मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहिता, हृदय बसहु सुर भूप, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय।
श्री सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय।
जय।
थैंक यू हरि। ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। असतो मा सद्गमय, तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय, मृत्योर्मा अमृतङ्गमय। ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते, पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। So enjoy your last online Balavihar class tomorrow, all the teachers who are there and the parents. Looking forward, of course, teachers also, looking forward to meet all of you in person next week. So see you around. Hari Om. Stay well.